Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask Chris Fitzsimon and John Hood, somebody on Facebook posted a picture of a classroom that had a display board with Black Lives Matter on the board. Now, the question was asked whether or not this was appropriate to post in public schools classrooms. What's your opinion, Chris?
Obviously, it's appropriate. It's an issue that's happening in America right now. There are a lot of people on both sides of the political spectrum that believe Black Lives Matter. If it was 50, 60 years ago and there's a picture of Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement on the bulletin board, would people complain on Facebook? Some people might, but I think the overwhelming majority of people in North Carolina believe that teachers and students ought to learn about what's happening, ought to have a balanced view of the Black Lives Matter movement, of what it actually stands for, and not be misled by a lot of the misinterpretation of what they're doing. So I don't, somebody on Facebook alarmed that people are learning that Black Lives Matter, I think probably themselves needs to do some thinking.
And there was no narrative attached to it. It just said Black Lives Matter. John, what's your take?
It's all about context. Naturally, students need to be learning, even young students, and particularly middle school and older students, need to be learning about current events, including Black Lives Matter and the debates associated with police conduct and racial disparities and all the other aspects of it. Black Lives Matter, the organization, however, is Marxist and rather crazy. So the distinction between a broad social movement and a slogan that many people value, most Americans value, and a particular organization, I very seriously doubt the teacher was teaching about BLM itself, or at least I hope not, in a way that is one-sided. But Black Lives Matter as a slogan and the social events that we are all witnessing is, of course, something students should be learning in school.
Chris, I saw you shaking your head when John said this was a Marxist.
No, I do. That's right. I mean, I don't think most people think of the organization Black Lives Matter. I think they think of the slogan, the idea, the things that have been happening in policing around the country for generations. So I agree with John. I think people should learn about that. I think there should be context. It's a very important moment in our nation's history, just like the civil rights movement was, and a lot of other things.
Interesting. Well, thank you all for watching the Afterspin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.